Call the meeting to order. Welcome to our regular meeting for December the 16th, a special meeting, and that we will be bringing down our budget for 2015. And I know that my Minister of Finance has been working very hard over the last couple of days and getting ready for the budget and making sure that we have it in place for tonight. So looking forward to the budget. And first of all, before we go any further, just meeting number 438, are there any errors or omissions in the minutes from 438? If they're not, I'll ask for a motion to accept the minutes as circulated. Councillor Moores, and second by Councillor Finn. All those in favor? Against? Motion is carried. Any business arising out of the minutes? No business arising. We will go to our disbursement report. Councillor Mercer.
I present the disbursement report for the period December 16, 2014 in the amount of $827,232.30.
Moved by Councillor Mercer and second by Councillor Cody Davis. Any questions, discussions on the disbursement report? If not, all those in favor? Against? Motion carried. Moving on to committee reports. Most of the committee reports are short. Public Works, Councillor Finn.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Public Works and Planning Committee met on Tuesday, November 25th at 4:30 p.m. Present were myself as chairman, Deputy Mayor Al Hawkins, Deputy Mayor Barry Manuel, Councillor Bruce Moores, Councillor Rodney Mercer, Councillor Amy Cody Davis, Councillor Tom Pinson. Present among staff were Town Manager Mike Pinson, the Director of Engineering Works Jeff Saunders, the Assistant Director of Engineering Nelson Chapman, the Director of Finance Barry Griffin, and the Supervisor of Engineering and Public Works Wayne Tate. The staff presented a draft of the 2015 Engineering and Works Operating Budget. The goals and objectives for 2014 were reviewed, and the 2015 goals and objectives were presented and discussed. The budget document was reviewed in detail, and a few adjustments were made. The seasonal construction inspector would be included in the operating budget and charged to capital, and not charged to capital. LED notification and trailer mount signs would be removed from operations and included in the town-funded capital. The committee recommends these changes be made and the document forwarded to Finance for inclusion in the full budget documents. The meeting adjourned at 7:30 p.m. Mr. Mayor, I move the recommendations and report of this committee.
Moved by Councillor Finn and second by Councillor Mercer. Any questions, discussions? If not, all those in favor? Against? The motion is carried. Moving on to Economic Development and Tourism, Councillor Cody Davis.
Economic Development and Tourism Committee met on Monday, November 24th at 4:30. In attendance were myself as chair, Deputy Mayor Manuel, Councillors Pinsent, Finn, Moores, and Mercer. Staff included Mike Pinsent, Town Manager Clerk, Gary Hennessy, the EDO, Stan Singh, BDO, and Barry Griffin, Director of Finance and HR. The Business Development Officer and the Economic Development Officer both gave reviews on their 2014 objectives, as well as their 2015 objectives and their budget documents. The committee discussed each of these documents and will refer them to Finance and Administration Committee for further discussion. Our meeting adjourned at 7 o'clock, and I move the recommendations and report of this committee.
It's moved by Councillor Cody Davis and second by Councillor Moores. Questions, discussions? All those in favor? Against? Motion is carried. Parks, Recreation, Special Events, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Parks, Recreation, and Special Events Committee met on Wednesday, November 26, 2014 at 4:30 p.m. In attendance were myself as chair, Councillor Rodney Mercer, Councillor Amy Cody Davis, Councillor Bruce Moores, Councillor Tom Pinsent, and Councillor Darren Finn. Staff present were Michael Pinsent, Town Manager, Barry Griffin, Director of Finance, Keith Antle, Parks and Recreation Foreman, Todd Mercer, Leisure Services Programmer, and David Nichols, the Director of Parks and Recreation. Winter-Spring brochure. The committee discussed the final draft of the Winter-Spring brochure as presented by the Leisure Services Programmer. The committee recommends that the final draft be approved. Correspondence, Communities in Bloom. The committee discussed correspondence received from the Chairman of Communities in Bloom, Following the town's performance and winning of the Newfoundland Labrador 2014 Tidy Town Award, the town has been invited to participate in the 2015 Communities in Bloom National Edition. The National Awards Ceremony and Symposium will be held in Kamloops, British Columbia from September the 30th to October the 3rd in 2015. The committee recommends that the town participate in the 2015 Communities in Bloom National Edition. Light Up for Christmas ceremony, the director noted that there are several events being held on the current date of Thursday, December the 4th, scheduled for the town's Light Up for Christmas ceremony. The committee recommends that the Light Up for Christmas ceremony be rescheduled to Wednesday, December the 3rd at 5:30 p.m. at the Fire Hall. Joe Byrne Memorial Stadium disabled parking. The Parks and Recreation foreman informed the committee that he has met with the municipal police chief regarding the Joe Byrne Memorial Stadium disabled parking locations. It was determined that 2 disabled parking spaces be permanently placed at the outside parking lot area closest to High Street. Correspondence coupon advertising. The committee discussed a proposal presented for advertising on 10,000 coupons during a campaign to be launched in January 2015. The committee can use the space allocated to advertise the Midwinter Biver and the town's programming. The committee recommends that the department commit $360 to participate in this program. 2015 proposed Parks and Recreation budget. The committee discussed the 2015 proposed Parks and Recreation budget in detail. The committee decreased the amount of labor and general parks electrical funding originally requested and revised the proposed Parks and Recreation budget accordingly. The committee recommends that the presented budget be forwarded to the Finance and Administration Committee for budget deliberation. The meeting adjourned at 7:10 p.m. and I move the report and the recommendations of this committee.
Moved by Deputy Mayor and second by Councillor Pinsent. Any questions, discussions on the Parks Recreation special events? If not, all those in favor? Against, motion's carried. Finance and Administration.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Finance and Administration Committee met Thursday, November 27, 2014 at 5 p.m. In attendance, myself as chair, Deputy Mayor Manuel, Councillors Moores, Finn, Cody Davis, and Pinsent, along with staff Barry Griffin, Director of Finance, and Mike Pinsent, Town Manager. Pension Plan Amendment 2013-01. The committee reviewed the proposed pension plan amendment for the defined retirement pension plan as attached. The amendment reduces the early retirement penalties and allows readmission to past plan members. The committee recommends this be approved. Work camp revenue. The committee reviewed proposed rates for land lease rates for proposed work camp. The committee recommends that the lease rate of $15,000 per month be approved. Gordon Pinson proposal. The committee reviewed a proposal for construction of a Gordon Pinson statue. Total estimate cost of the project is approximately $600,000. The committee recommends that staff research possible funding availability for future discussion. Fiscal framework. The committee reviewed correspondence from municipalities Newfoundland and Labrador on a proposed new fiscal framework for municipal funding. The committee supports this proposal and recommends that correspondence be sent to government in support of this. Poll tax collections. The committee reviewed poll tax collection to date and the number of counts still outstanding. As of November 27th, outstanding were 399 counts and $48,810 in arrears. The committee recommends that all outstanding counts be sent to the Collection Bureau or Credit Bureau for collections. Labor report. The committee reviewed the labor report as of week 48. Total labor year to date, $2,800,123, which is 1.3% over budget. Job descriptions. The committee reviewed the proposed job descriptions for the municipal enforcement officer / animal control officer and the executive secretary / town manager position. The committee recommends these be approved. Taxation request. The committee discussed correspondence received on taxation of charitable corporations and clergy residents. The committee recommends that these items be deferred and referred at the next Finance Committee meeting. Fusion BPO. The Director of Finance advised the committee that effective January 31st, 2015, Fusion BPO would be discontinuing their lease of space at the Excite Centre. The annual revenue impact is $57,085. The space is no longer required due to company loss of contracts and planned change to home agents. Golf course request. The committee received a request from the Grand Falls Golf Club to provide interim financing of $15,000 to be repaid within 90 days. The committee recommends this be approved. The meeting adjourned at 7 p.m. I move the recommendations and report of this committee.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilor Mercer. We have a seconder. Deputy Mayor, any questions, discussions? All those in favor? Against? Motion's carried. Second piece there, Deputy Mayor, with regard to the requested donation.
Removed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll abstain from this.
Finance and Administration Committee met again on Thursday, November 27th at 2014 at 5 p.m. In attendance, myself as chair, Councillor Moores, Councillor Finn, Councillor Cody Davis, and Councillor Pinsent. Staff present, Barry Griffin, Director of Finance, and Mike Pinsent, Town Manager. Request for donation. The committee reviewed a request from the Corbury Brook Enhancement Association for the amount of $1,356 for the purchase of a snowblower. The committee recommends this be approved. The meeting adjourned at 7 p.m. I move the recommendations and report of this committee.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilor Mercer, second by Councilor Moores. Any questions, discussions? All those in favor? Against? Motion's carried. And with Councilor Deputy Mayor not voting on that. Resolution 2014221. Councilor Mercer.
Whereas under Section 94 of the Municipalities Act of the Province of Newfoundland and Labrador, subject to the approval of the Minister, Council may borrow monies and issue securities for the repayment of monies borrowed. And whereas it is deemed necessary to borrow the amount of $1,726,557 to finance municipal funded capital projects. Therefore, be it resolved that subject to the approval of the Honourable Minister of Municipal Affairs, Council borrow this amount from a chartered bank in Grand Falls, Windsor, and that this amount be repaid by general revenues at a variable rate over a 15-year period. Be it also resolved that the Mayor and Director of Finance be authorized to negotiate the said loan and to sign promissory notes and execute all documents pertaining to this resolution.
Councilor Mercer and second by Councilor Cody Davis. Any questions, discussions on Resolution 2014221? Okay, all those in favor? Against? Motion's carried. 2014222.
Resolution, whereas under Section 94 of the Municipalities Act of the Province of Newfoundland and Labrador, subject to the approval of the Minister, Council may borrow monies and issue securities for the repayment of monies borrowed. And whereas it is deemed necessary to borrow the amount of $500,000 to finance the multi-year capital works programs. Therefore, be it resolved that subject to the approval of the Honourable Minister of Municipal Affairs, Council borrow this amount from a chartered bank in Grand Falls, Windsor, and that this amount be repaid by general revenues at a variable rate over a 5-year period. Be it also resolved that the Mayor and Director of Finance be authorized to negotiate the said loan and to sign promissory notes and execute all documents pertaining to this resolution.
Okay, moved by Councilor Mercer and second by Councilor Cody Davis. Resolution 2014222. Questions, discussions? All those in favor? Against? Motion's carried. That was easy. All right. Notice of motion. No notice of motion. We move on to Budget 2015. And it's up to you, Councilor Mercer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As Chair of Finance Administration Committee, it is with great pleasure that I present to you the Town of Grand Falls, Windsor 2015 Municipal Operating Budget. This document is a result of long hours of deliberation and a review of our past year's activities. We have assessed our economic forecast, and despite the many challenges which lie ahead, we are confident in our future prosperity and ability to deliver a level of service which allows our citizens to continue to enjoy the quality of life they expect and are accustomed to. Mr. Mayor, our local economy remains active with growth in our retail and residential construction. Although the pace of home construction has decreased, a number of new houses are under construction and there are plans for an increased subdivision. The recent decline in oil pricing will impact the provincial economy, which will no doubt impact us locally. Despite these challenges, We are confident in our ability to overcome and continue to prosper. Our population is stable with a current population of 13,725 based on the 2011 census, a modest increase over the 2006 census. Aging society has been identified as occurring nationally, provincially, and locally. The changing demographics will present challenges in housing and services. We are attempting through economic development, recreation, and public works to adapt to the change. Council's age-friendly strategy and long-term planning will allow us to meet this challenge as we move ahead. We are taking steps forward to build on the solid foundation we have in Grand Falls, Windsor. We will remain focused on our core values of economic stability and commitment to the environment in dealing with the challenges, and will continue on our mission in making Grand Falls, Windsor the best place to live and do business. A balanced budget for 2015 enables us to continue on this path. Revenue for 2015 is projected to be approximately $16.6 million. Mr. Mayor, I am pleased to announce that there will be no tax increase for residential and commercial property and business tax in 2015. Residents will see a modest increase in the amount of $75 per household to ensure that we are able to continue with providing the safest, clean drinking water possible for all our residents. Combined, our level of taxation is the lowest of the larger towns in all our province. The citizens of Grand Falls, Windsor can feel proud in enjoying a level service that is second to none at the lowest cost of our peers. Over the past few years, we have spent over $3 million on water treatment upgrades. Currently operating a state-of-the-art facility, we produce water quality which exceeds national standards. Further capital plans include water sewer line upgrades and improvements to the sewage treatment facility to ensure compliance with environmental regulations. The chemical costs are critical to ensuring safe, clean drinking water. These costs have been increasing and must be recovered through increased water and sewer rates. An increase in water and sewer rates is necessary to allow us to make these required investments and meet the challenges of rising cost. To help offset the challenges faced by seniors, we will be continuing our seniors income discount program. All seniors who pay before March 31st will be eligible for an additional 5% discount. Last year, a total of 320 senior households in our town availed of the Seniors Low Income Program at a total of $142,000. This program is amongst the largest in the province. Mr. Mayor, our Seniors Income Discount Program is essentially keeping money in the pockets of those most vulnerable in our society on fixed incomes, helping to ensure a higher quality of life for our aging population. In order to finance our annual operations, taxes are due to be paid by March 31st of the fiscal year. Interest at 1% per month will apply after that date. Citizens may avoid incurring interest charges by electing to pay monthly through automatic bank debits. This well-utilized plan is beneficial for both the taxpayer and the town. We encourage all citizens to contact the town for more information on this program. The town of Grand Falls, Windsor, in partnership with municipalities Newfoundland and Labrador, is actively pursuing a new fiscal framework agreement with the province. In 2012, the municipal operating grant was eliminated, removing annual operating funding of $400,000 from our annual revenues. Mr. Mayor, the town of Grand Falls, Windsor will continue in its lobbying effort in conjunction with municipalities Newfoundland and Labrador to find a solution in the coming year. It is hoped that a new fiscal framework removing the province's portion of the HST and a payroll tax will be implemented. Based on projections for the previous 3 budgets, the HST and payroll tax has cost our town in excess of $1.4 million. This savings will contribute greatly to our long-term financial stability of our town. Mr. Mayor, the town of Grand Falls, Windsor strongly supports the principle that government should not be taxing other levels of government. Expenditures. The total expenditure forecast for 2015 is approximately $15.8 million, resulting in capital funding of $739,000. Total operating expenses are approximately $13.5 million. Debt payments are forecast at $1.4 million, resulting in a debt payment ratio of 8.9%. This, again, is one of the lowest in the province and allows us to continue to invest in the infrastructure that is essential to maintaining a level of service and quality of life. Our debt payment ratio is something that we should all be proud of, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, a debt payment ratio of 8.9% would make any town of our size envious of our financial position. Parks and Recreation. In 2015, the Parks and Recreation Department have a number of exciting projects, programs, and special events planned for our community. Total expenditures for recreation is estimated to be approximately $1.8 million. The Leisure Services Programmer position will be made full-time to continue to develop leisure services and community programming for all age groups throughout our town. The Parks and Recreation Department will complete and construct several capital projects. The state-of-the-art splash pad and new ultra-modern dog park will be opened in early summer. The new clubhouse at Goodyear Avenue Fields Complex will be opening in May. These projects, with a combined value of over $1 million, will provide much enjoyment for our residents, in addition with emphasis on accessibility and age-friendly. In addition, the existing Sutherland Drive playground will have new equipment installed to develop an all-ages community playground and leisure area. The department will also construct a new modern playground facility on Main Street valued at over $250,000. We will upgrade and widen the Exploits Valley ski trails and ski hut and confirm feasibility of bringing electricity to the site and lightest section of the trails. The trails will be developed for dual mountain bike use, which will provide all-season usage of the trails. We have applied for federal and provincial funding to build a new ski lodge and develop a biathlon facility to host Atlantic Canada programs. The department will work with the Grand Falls Windsor Baseball Association to identify funding for the Goodyear Avenue Fields renovation and field lighting. The department will work with Softball Association to establish Main Street Fields as the primary softball facility within our town. Council has allocated funding for the Main Street field lighting. Our town has accepted an invitation to attend and compete in the 2015 Communities in Bloom National Competition. As the 2014 Provincial Tidy Towns winner community and as a 3-time winner of this competition, we are honored to represent Newfoundland at this prestigious event. 2015 will be a very busy and exciting year for our town as we strive to offer our citizens the best in parks, recreation, and leisure services. Mr. Mayor, we partner with many groups in delivering recreation and leisure services to our citizens. Funding of these community partners is provided as follows. Increased funding for Y2C from $10,000 to $15,000. Corduroy Brook, $40,000. YMCA, $25,000. The Curling Club, $15,000. Irma, $7,000. Minor Sports Group, $23,000. And we support the continuation of the First Time Skaters program for both Minor Hockey and Sparkling Blades. Economic development. The town of Grand Falls, Windsor is focused on the development of a healthcare, life sciences economy. The goal is to make Grand Falls, Windsor a provincial centre to meet the healthcare needs of Newfoundland and Labrador. Through partnerships with local, provincial, and federal stakeholders, the town is focused on objectives in healthcare, education, professional development, life science research, and as a key delivery point for health services for Newfoundland and Labrador. To ensure long-term sustainability in partnership with federal and provincial agencies, Council is committed to pursue all opportunities which will strengthen and diversify our economy on a knowledge-based economy. The town is working with Memorial University to develop a satellite campus for the School of Nursing in Grand Falls, Windsor, and facilitate the setup of a residence for the Faculty of Medicine students that will meet a growing demand to study in our community. In addition, the town is also partnering with the Faculty of Medicine on the creation of a genomic hearing loss research center in Grand Falls, Windsor. These projects are partnerships that involve many people living and or working in Grand Falls, Windsor, who have a passion for what they do. Working with local expertise and partnerships with industry and public institutions is helping Grand Falls, Windsor grow as a community and with better health outcomes, and creating long-term, high-quality economic opportunities. The town of Grand Falls, Windsor is working on attracting global data centers with a focus on disaster recovery for the New York and European financial services industry. This is a partnership with ACOA, the Department of Foreign Affairs, the Government of Newfoundland and Labrador, in addition to Rogers, Eastlink, Bell Aligned, and Nalcor Energy. Also included in this year's economic development budget is $40,000 for the Heritage Society of Grand Falls, Windsor to study the Grand Falls House Committee to develop a feasibility plan to ensure preservation and the use of Grand Falls House. Budget 2015 provides funding of $344,000 to accomplish our economic goals as follows: data center recruitment, retail accommodation development, implementation of a population growth strategy, age and retirement-friendly community, development of Grand Falls, Windsor as a provincial hub to meet provincial healthcare needs. Engineering and public works. Engineering and works provide the essential services required by the citizens of our community. These include roads and transportation, water and sewer, waste management, street lighting, and waste treatment. In addition, the department oversees the operation of the water treatment plant, providing a safe, reliable drinking supply for over 20,000 people, including people in neighboring towns of Botwood, Bishop Falls, and Peterview. The total funding allocated for this department is $6.6 million for the year 2015. Capital projects 2014-2015. The capital program for the 2014 season was one of the largest ever undertaken by the town of Grand Falls, Windsor. Funding for the projects has come from a multi-year capital works investment at a 70-30% split with the province. Along with funding from the Building Canada Fund, gas tax, and town funding, there was close to $8 million worth of work completed, covering 19 projects. Residents may have noticed that there were several projects that were tendered in 2014 but were unable to be completed, but will be finalized in the spring of 2015. These include subgrade for the arterial road connecting Tulip Drive to Park Street, a carryover of $800,000 of asphalt paving to various areas of our town, upgrades to the lift station at Victoria Street, purchase of playground equipment for Main Street and Sutherland Drive playgrounds, Duggan Street upgrading, traffic lights at Union Street and Goodyear Avenue. 2015 will continue to provide several improvements to the town of Grand Falls, Windsor. In addition to the completion of projects mentioned, there are several new projects scheduled that will total upwards of $10 million. These include water and sewer repairs at Gilbert Street, upgrade Ardie Avenue from Brown Avenue to Grenfell Heights, asphalt paving of various areas, installation of playground equipment at Main Street and Sutherland Drive, water and sewer upgrades near Tulip Drive, replacement of the old depot at Centennial Field, construction of a new cross-country chalet and storage shed, water treatment plant upgrades, a new municipal building for the Corduroy Brook Enhancement Association and its operations, and further renovations at Town Hall. Further projects are being considered under the current multi-year capital works program, and another application for an additional $12 million from a new Building Canada fund that will see improvements to wastewater treatment facility, water and sewer upgrades at Lincoln Road, and Duggan Street trunk sewer upgrades. Waste management fees. The cost of municipal waste management is increasing in 2015. Fees will increase on January 1st from $117 a ton to $122 a ton for household garbage. Mixed construction and demolition will increase from $117 a ton to $122 a ton, and sorted construction and demolition waste will increase from $10 a ton to $15 a ton. These increases are significant and are necessary to cover the cost of material recovering facility, which is scheduled to be operational in March. All residents will be required to separate their waste in clear garbage bags and blue recycling bags. The appropriate notices and education material will be circulated to all residents of our town early in the new year. Water treatment. Over the past few years, we have spent over $3 million on water treatment plant upgrades. These upgrades have resulted in an improved water quality that exceeds the Canadian drinking water standards. Water quality reports are completed quarterly by the Provincial Department of Environment. Water quality is ranked by Drinking Water Quality Index. This index is a means to summarize water quality data for reporting to the general public in a consistent manner. Mr. Mayor, our latest report has given us a perfect score of 100 and a ranking of excellent. This is the highest, and it means water quality is protected with a virtual absence of impairment. Conditions are very close to pristine. These index values can only be obtained if all measurements meet the recommended guidelines virtually all of the time. We have plans for further capital works for upgrading our wastewater treatment plant to meet new federal guidelines. We also require capital to upgrade our water and wastewater distribution system. Anticipated work is approximately $12 million over the next 3 years. The increase in water and sewer rates is necessary to allow us to make the required investments. Capital debt financing. The town of Grand Falls, Windsor has increasing demands on maintaining and improving our municipal infrastructure of roads, water and sewer, recreation facilities, buildings, and equipment. The total investment forecast for 2014 was $8.9 million. The town's share of this capital was $4.1 million. For 2015, we're forecasting a total capital of $12.6 million, with the town's share of $4.1 million. In order to finance capital expenditures and take advantage of government cost-sharing agreements requiring a 30% municipal share, Council must incur long-term borrowing. We are forecasting borrowing for 2015 to be $3.4 million, or a total capital plan of $12.6. We have been responsible in managing our debt. Our debt payment ratio for 2015 is 8.9%, well below Council's maximum policy of 20%, and among the lowest of all municipalities within our province. Over the next 5 years, Council's planned capital is $58.7 million, with a municipal share during this period of 20.8. We are forecasting our debt payment ratio to increase from 8.9% to 12%. We feel that this is a responsible use of debt in order to maintain our investment in a municipal infrastructure critical to the standard of living our citizens experience. In conclusion, Mr. Mayor, our council continues to aim for success. Budget 2015 is an example of sound fiscal responsibility which each and every taxpayer deserves. With the leadership from council, supplemented by the best senior management team from all across our province, I firmly believe that our former mill town will continue to grow leaps and bounds as we turn the corner from a pulp and paper industry to a knowledge-based economy. Based on our financial projections for the upcoming year, tonight's budget provides the financial capabilities to meet our commitments, realize our goals, and strive for financial excellence. Mr. Mayor, this council is committed to long-term prosperity for Grand Falls, Windsor. In closing, I would like to take this opportunity to thank our town manager, his senior staff, all the workers at the town hall, and in addition to my council colleagues for their assistance in preparing this 2015 budget. Mr. Mayor, I move the adoption of the 2015 municipal operating budget.
Thank you, Councillor Mercer. Do we have a seconder for the budget? Second by Councillor Cody Davis. Any questions, discussions on the budget? Okay, just before I do call for the vote on it, I'd just like to as well say a big thank you to our senior staff and to council for the many hours of work that is put into preparing a budget. And a budget of this magnitude, of course, it never comes easy. And I guess one of the things we always strive to make sure is that we are fiscally responsible. I was somewhat surprised this week because a lot of times we get caught up in the growth and what's happening in the town, to realize that the town of Grand Falls, Windsor now has close to 110 kilometers of road within our community. 110 kilometers of road. Now, that has to be maintained, and it has to be maintained for long term. And what we've done for the last, I guess, 2 or 3 years is certainly put a focus on our paving. And I just sort of want to echo, I know that Councillor Finn, when I got elected 4 years ago, and I think Councillor Finn, you started that first year that I got elected, we've got to put more money into paving, we've got to put more money into paving. And I think we have been looking at that over the last number of years, because I think it is actually correct, because if you look at the lifespan, if you look at a 20-year lifespan, I mean, we're going to have to be paving 5 to 6 kilometers per year, and that is significant. And contrary to some of some people, to some of the critics that are out there that talks about trying to cut expenditures and that sort of thing when it comes to providing services, some of them fail to realize that even with sometimes when populations decreasing, we're fortunate our population is increasing. Sometimes when populations decrease, we're still going to have 110 kilometers of road to pave, whether our population is 13,000 or our population is 11,000. And so what we, in preparing this budget and putting this budget together, I think it's important for us to look long-term, because it is important for us to plan for the future. And one of the things that we've done is certainly tried to keep our debt ratio within reason. And being able to do that, we're able, with a 70-30 contribution from the province, these are 30-cent dollars, it's time really now for us to certainly invest in the infrastructure that we have. I think it's becoming a little bit more of a challenge to balance a budget going forward, because of the demands that are being placed on municipalities throughout the province, and I think that's why municipalities Newfoundland and Labrador are strongly looking for a new fiscal arrangement, so that the capital going forward and the infrastructure deficiencies that we have in our communities, and many of our communities are aging communities. The town of Grand Falls, Windsor, over 100 years old. Some of the infrastructure is a lot older than some other younger communities that we have. So there's a lot that you've got to balance out and you've got to juggle as you look at doing a budget. So I just like to commend all of our departments and the chairs of our committees for the great work that you've done, going through the goals and objectives, and then, of course, putting the budget in place. So hats off to all of you, and certainly I think it's a budget that we should be proud of, and certainly one that really will provide services that the people of Grand Falls, Windsor have come to expect. We have had many good years when a lot of services have been provided, and I think now we've come to expect that. And I think one of the other things, like when you're talking about infrastructure, it goes sometimes a little bit beyond pavement and streets, because there are other amenities that are important, such as our recreation. And when we're looking at our splash pads and our dog parks, and we're looking at our playgrounds, providing these facilities for our young people are so important, because we want to attract younger families, and so we have to put a balance or strike a balance between all that. So I think that we've done a great job. So all those in favor of the budget and against the budget, and the motion, the budget is carried unanimous. And thank you very much. And I guess the only other business that's left is for councillors. Where do I want to start? Deputy Mayor. It's going to go. I'm going to give her almost the last word. Almost the last word.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't have a whole lot there. I'll, start by saying I echo a lot of what you had to say in terms of the budget, and to be able to commend staff for putting this together, and certainly council colleagues for sitting at the table for as many hours as we do. We put a lot of consideration into how the money is spent in the community, and a lot of debate goes on at the table, as you're well aware, and I think it's all healthy, and ultimately I'm very pleased and proud of this budget. And being someone who's, I guess, born and raised here in Grand Falls, Windsor, I've been able to see a lot of the changes in the community throughout my lifetime, and you still see a lot of the people who are Grand Falls, Windsor residents who've been here all their lives, but you also see a lot of those new people to our town, and It's so great to see the new influx of people to the town, the young families. We've got such a dynamic and diverse community, and it's something that I'm sure everybody's very proud of. And going forward, I'm sure I speak for everybody when I say that we will continue to be serious about spending money in the proper ways, investing in the areas where we need to invest, in infrastructure and in quality of life areas as well, which this budget, there's numerous examples of both in terms of spending. So overall, just very proud of the community and certainly proud of being a part of this process at this point. Still relatively new as a councillor, but I'm excited about a lot of the things that we're doing going forward. And you know, it's a lot of good things going on for the community. And in terms of the level of taxation in that, it's also a very proud thing to be able to say that you're one of the lowest amongst the bigger communities in the province. When you look at that and the level of service that the community receives in terms of snow clearing and the quality of the roads and right down to the sidewalks in the wintertime that are cleared, the recreational facilities and the green spaces that we have that are available to all ages and abilities. It's something that I don't think everybody can be so proud of. So certainly hats off to people who have been involved in this a lot longer than I have and brought us to this point, and I'm sure that we can continue along that path in the future. The only other I will bring up tonight outside of the budget is just want to recognize Wayne Downton. Wayne, our animal control officer who retired recently after, I'm guessing, somewhere around 30 plus years of service. I don't know exactly. He also worked with the former town of Windsor, but Wayne, a fine gentleman, as everybody here I'm sure is aware, very well liked in the community, took his job very seriously and did an exceptional job in animal control in his time. So I wish Wayne all the best in his retirement, and I hope he takes time to enjoy himself and spend some nights at the cabin and that, which I'm sure he will. And I'm sure everybody with the town is sad to see Wayne go, but at the same time happy that he'll get a chance to relax a little bit, because it's can be a tedious job at times dealing in animal control, and you know, Wayne took great pride in that and did a good job. And of course, just like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, all the citizens of Grand Falls, Windsor, first and foremost, and all the town staff, and certainly all the council and senior staff that are here tonight, all our friends with the media who we see quite often. Also wish them a Merry Christmas, and you know, from my family to everybody, I hope everybody takes the time this time of year. It tends to be a time where we can sit back a little bit for at least a week or two and, you know, be able to reflect upon the year that was and look forward with excitement to next year. And I hope everybody gets the opportunity to do that. I know I'm looking forward to trying to do that as much as possible. And Christmas is just a great time of year, so I hope everybody has a safe and an enjoyable Christmas. And I'll end right there. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Councillor Finn.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I guess first of all, I would like to recognize the hard work of councillors and the senior management and the staff in preparing the budget. So not to repeat some of the comments that have been already made by yourself and the Deputy Mayor, but it is a lot of work, and a lot of time goes into our meetings. They're marathon meetings, often exceeding 4 hours in duration, and more than one occasion per committee. So it's cumulative, and there's a lot of work. So I congratulate you all on your efforts, and I certainly congratulate the Chairman of Finance on his presentation tonight and your leadership. The other thing, Mr. Mayor, I wanted to talk about tonight, or I want to congratulate the organisers of the parade and the participants of the Santa Claus parade. It was a really nice parade. It was a beautiful parade, long parade, lots of participants, and I was there with my family, and we had our entourage of kids with us, and they all had a great time. And I just thought it was fabulous that that there's that much participation. and Santa was there with Mrs. Claus in fine style, and calling out the names of all the kids. You know, they just knew everybody, so it was just fabulous.
Santa knows all.
Santa does know all, obviously, it certainly does. So I congratulate all those key people involved. I won't name anybody because I'll certainly miss people, but I know the key organizers, and congratulations to them. The last thing, Mr. Mayor, or last two things I wanted to do is, over the holidays, our Saturday drop-off is open. So it is open on December 27th and on January 10th from 8 to 4. So those are 2 Saturdays where everybody can move all your packaging from your gifts to the Saturday drop-off. As well over the holidays, and our policy on garbage collection is online. On the 24th, garbage is a normal collection day, and for Christmas Day, our garbage collection will it's normally collected on Wednesday, so it'll be collected on the 24th versus Christmas Day. And for Boxing Day, it'll be collected on Monday the 29th. And on New Year's Eve, there's no change. Garbage will be collected on New Year's Eve. And on New Year's Day, garbage won't be collected. It'll be collected on the following Friday. But you can refer to our website for all of the actual collection days. If your collection day happens to fall on one of those statutory holidays. So the only thing I also Mr. Mayor, wanted to say, I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas from my family to yours, to you as councillors, and to the staff, and to everybody certainly that's in this room, and to the citizens of Grand Falls, Windsor that are tuning in tonight for the budget. I certainly want to wish you a very Merry Christmas and a safe and happy holiday. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Finn. Councillor Pinson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just got a few things tonight. First of all, just to say to the families of Laura McCarthy. Laura McCarthy passed away the last couple of weeks, and Laura McCarthy, of course, was former mayor of Windsor and fire chief for town of Grand Falls, Windsor. So condolences to his family and friends. I know he had a lot. A few well done. College North Atlantic had a sale with the Ed Arts and from the local high school community. Raised over $3,000 for the Lion Max Sims camp, so well done. Also to the people who organized the VOCM Happy Tree, raised over $6,000 in the concert. So, and as we've been talking about budgets and we're trying to keep our taxes and everything else low, keep in mind some residents out there who are trying to survive on like $600, $700, $800 a month, and so it's a challenge. And speaking about the budget, and I mean we were kind of proud that we had to do it, but we managed to keep it and not have to raise taxes. And, you know, the water rates, unfortunately, we had to put up a little tiny bit. But, you know, one thing that does concern me, although I'm proud of the budget, and I think we had to do it because we were sort of caught between a rock and a hard place with the infrastructure being what it is. But, you know, we are concerned about our debt rising, although we spoke a lot about it being in the threshold. But it gives you the freedom to be able to do things on the fly. So from the debt rising from roughly around $6 million now to going to 15 in 2019 is a bit of a concern. Going forward, so we will have to keep an eye on that. The demolition of the mill, it sounds like a broken record. It's supposed to be the end of December. To my knowledge, has anybody heard anything that it's been? I haven't heard anything. So we're promised the end of December. So that continues to be a thorn in our sides. Congratulations to the town band for their performance, and they gave a dues at the concert to us for letting them use the Excite Center. That's a big deal to them, so well done to those. Got to speak at the seniors annual dinner this past Friday night, and they passed their thanks on, had some good remarks for the town and their snow clearing removal and things like that. So they had some glowing things to say about that. So hats off to your crew in town engineering. So it does get noticed. And finally, a year gone already, and been sitting in these chambers. So on behalf of my family, I'd like to wish all my fellow councillors and deputy mayor and senior staff, especially the fellow who's got a street named after him. Have Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and to all the people from the media, thanks for the coverage. Some most good, some not so good, but we
Always good.
appreciate
always
your
good.
efforts. I'm not looking at anybody in particular. I'll look up in the sky, look at the walls, but we appreciate your efforts, we really do. Okay, so that's it for me.
Thank you. Councilor Mercer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a few things. I wanted to mention, 2 weeks ago, I had the opportunity to travel to Ottawa to represent our town and speak at a Senate committee on transportation and communications. This very specific committee for the past year has been studying the CBC and the inadequacies of the CBC, and they try and twist it in a way it's based on technology, that kind of thing. So I guess as a vocal person on the CBC, I got an invite to make presentation to the committee, which I thank the Senate for inviting us. A lot of questions that we've asked over the past 12 months to the CBC and the government, which went unanswered. I sort of got some reassurance from committee members, such as the famous Jacques Demers, the coach of the Montreal Canadiens, who's also a senator. He assured me that once they get the president and the CEO back into the chair at the committee table, he will ask those questions on our behalf, and the CBC or the president and the chairperson of the CBC will have no choice but to respond. And I gave him a copy of my presentation, so I expect sometime in the future that the CBC get grilled on the poor business judgments that they've made here in central Newfoundland. So I just wanted to advise council on those issues. The Salvation Army kettle, if you've recognized, we've been out doing some shopping. The Salvation Army is out and about once again this year doing their great work in the community. So if you've got some spare time on your hands, you want to volunteer, stand up by a kettle for 2 hours. It's great. You see people that you haven't seen in a while, and it's for a good cause. And if you're walking by, feel free to dig deep, but not too deep, because that's where the change is, right? So just remember that one. Don't dig too deep, right? So that's where the change is. The bills is what's preferential. But any amount counts. So if you're interested in volunteering, I suggest you call Walwyn Blackmore, Jamie from the Resource Center, and set up a time. I'm sure they can make some slots available. The Kiwanis online auction fundraiser, which clued up 2 weeks ago, another success, like the Deputy Mayor mentioned at last council meeting. They sort of twisted it this year from, put a new perspective on it. This year it was online, it was technology, and it seems that technology is challenging a lot of the world, from the CBC to our pulp and paper mill town, that kind of thing. But for the sake of the Kiwanis online fundraiser, it was a great success, and they're looking forward to doing it again next year. So thanks to the Kiwanis and everyone that supported it. And finally, I'd just like to wish everyone here in the chambers with us tonight, and their families and everyone in the community, a Merry Christmas, a safe Christmas, and a responsible Christmas. I know that at times we participate in certain activities over the year, and I would encourage everyone to be safe and arrange for a driver in advance so that no stupid decisions are made under the influence of certain products. And with Christmas in mind, Christmas is always, or for most people, a joyous occasion. But there are people in the community that see Christmas as from a totally different perspective. Most people, especially kids, see Santa coming, delivering gifts and everything, got a smile. But there are people in our community who this past year have lost some loved ones, got family away, grandkids away, and they're not feeling the joy. So if you know somebody in the neighborhood, and whether it's a friend, a next door neighbor, the lady that lives across the street, just be a friendly neighbor and invite them over for a meal or a dinner and some Christmas spirit. So to everyone in the community and council, Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Councilor Mercer. Councilor Morris.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to take this opportunity to say thank you to all of you for the work and commitment in making our 2015 budget a very strong and meaningful budget. Thanks go out to the senior staff, department heads, and other staff members, without naming anyone, and to councillors for the hours of work they put into making this one the largest budget ever. Mr. Mayor, I fully support this budget, and this is an aggressive budget that will continue to make our town, the town of Grand Falls, Windsor, a better place to work and live in the future. So thank you. Mr. Mayor, I would also like to take this time to say thank you to all the volunteers of Grand Falls, Windsor, for the thousands of hours of work hours they put into our community this past year. We do appreciate it, and we thank you so much for it. To all the citizens of Windsor, let me say I do hope you all have a very merry, safe, happy Christmas season, a prosperous and joyful new year. From our house to your house, our family to your family, from me to you, Merry Christmas to everyone.
Thank you. Councillor Cody Davis.
Thank you, Mayor. I do have a few items. We weren't televised our last meeting, so there's a couple of very important items I wanted to mention. I wanted the general public to hear them, so I kept them in my bag of
Really?
tricks.
We
I
wanna
did.
Get away from that one.
Nope, not going to happen. Too important. The College of the North Atlantic, I did have the pleasure of attending the annual Business Case Competition Awards banquet. I do want to mention that Holly Dwyer, who is an instructor at the Grand Falls Windsor campus, was the coach on the second place and the third place team. So I want to say congratulations to Holly for another great year. She always does very well as a coach in these competitions, and she's certainly an asset to the College of the North Atlantic here in Grand Falls, Windsor. First place was for 709 Solutions. It was distance learning. So the second place and third place teams were business as usual and brand new solutions. So congratulations to them. I also want to mention I had the pleasure of meeting I'm going to try and say his name correctly. I may not, but I apologize. I'm sure he's not going to see the meeting on television. So, anyway, from Qatar, Hassan Ali Al-Sheib, from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I did it spot on, right? Maybe we should YouTube it and send it to him.
So twice in a row.
I won't do it the second time. Anyway, he is the Minister of Planning at the Asian Affairs Department. A fine man, and he was there. They had two teams from Qatar. The teams and Mr. Al-Sheib had a fantastic time. They loved the weather. It was very cold, and we had snow that week. And they just loved it. It was a fantastic experience for them. They got to experience the third period of the Cataracts hockey game, which they lost. So it wasn't, a great experience. But it was the first time, at least on a Saturday night. Maybe they should have gone to a Sunday game. Anyway, first time they'd ever seen a hockey game live, a hockey game, let alone a live hockey game, on ice, an experienced ice or a stadium atmosphere. So they were absolutely thrilled, and they're already making plans to come back, not just for business case competitions, but for vacation and travel. They've got invitations to go moose hunting and everything, so they're really excited. So anyway, congratulations again to all those who participated and to the judges who volunteered their time. A note from our budget, we did increase funding to the Y2C, and I do want to make mention of some of the courses that they offer for children, which is why I certainly supported increasing their funding. They offer, and I would recommend that parents take advantage of these courses as they come up in the new year. They're very important courses. There's a home alone and first aid course for children ages 10 to 15. They have babysitters training for children aged 11 to 15. So even if you're not planning on being a babysitter, they still teach some very important skills. At least that's how I'm selling it to my older boy, who is very concerned that there's only girls in the babysitters course. But that's not the case. So again, I would recommend that. They offer a cyber safe youth course, which is a 2-hour course for kids ages 7 to 10. That talks about internet safety. and about cyberbullying, and also a social netiquette course, which is another 2-hour program for children ages 11 to 14 that focuses on social networking, social ethics, the dangers of gaming, Facebook, and much more. And there are some costs associated with these courses, but they're minimal. They do provide snacks at their courses as well. So I would recommend that parents and guardians certainly check out those courses for children in our community. Also, Leslie Oak was named, and Leslie Oak School of Dance was selected the 2014 Enloe Youth Entrepreneur of the Year. And she was recognized, this award recognizes an entrepreneur who is 35 years of age or under, who has owned and operated a successful and profitable business for at least 2 years. And Leslie received her award in front of a full house at the Sheraton Hotel Awards Gala on October 31st. And she was also celebrated at a luncheon here in early December as well. So congratulations to Leslie on all the work that she does. I also want to mention Queen Street Dinner Theater, All I Want for Christmas, another fantastic show put off by John Thompson and the A&D Company. Congratulations to all the performers. I know each night was a sellout, so if you missed it, you did miss a great show. There are gift certificates available from the Queen Street Dinner Theater, which is a great gift idea or stocking stuffer for the upcoming summer season. So if you're looking for a gift for someone and you're having a hard time deciding what to get them, a gift certificate to the dinner theater would certainly be a great gift. Also want to mention, again, the Santa Claus Parade. Hats off to the organizers and the Lions Club and all of the participants from the business community to the schools, to the Allied Youth, to all the children who participated and were on floats. There were 42 floats in all, which is tremendous. And it was the 57th annual parade, so congratulations again to the Lions Club. I want to say special thanks to Rogers Cable. Myself and my father did commentate the parade in very cold weather, although we were dressed warmly. And I mentioned also in the parade, for the televised version, it's very difficult for the camera operators to operate the cameras in cold conditions. They have technical issues with the equipment. They get cold themselves. It's hard to operate the equipment wearing gloves or headphones. You can't wear a hat or whatever. So I certainly want to say thank you to them for being so cooperative and helping us be able to bring that to the community. So thank you. And lastly, on behalf of my family, my husband Wayne, our children Isaac, Faith, and Teresa, to the staff at the Town Hall, senior management, my fellow councillors, and of course to the residents of Grand Falls, Windsor, have a very Merry Christmas, and we wish you a healthy and a prosperous New Year, and we look forward to working with you all in 2015. Have a safe and a Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor, and thank you, councillors. Talking about, by the time it gets to me, by the way, there's nothing left. I keep crossing off and crossing off. That's okay, I don't mind. I don't need to ramble on. I don't need the airtime. I'm just okay. I'm just all right. I did want to talk about the parade, and I did want to talk about the Leslie Oak dancers. They did a fabulous job, and I actually tried to join them. And I was doing my dance until Leslie came over and said, Mayor, if you want to participate in our parade, I would suggest you come and have a rehearsal next year. I said, well, maybe that's what I should do. So I got the hint that I wasn't making the moves properly, but I thought I was doing all right, actually. What do you think, Darren? It looked all right when I was up over the hill, right? I kept up with them. The other, I guess, the town of Grand Falls, Windsor, everybody had a chance to see that float. It was absolutely unbelievable. Fabulous job that our staff put into putting that float together. And I think we won the best float. We had to win the best float, because, I mean, obviously, you know, that was so good. So hats off to all those. Andrea missed us so much. She gets back for Christmas, and she got to come to our council meeting. So welcome back. I'm assuming you had a good term in Halifax. Good. Two thumbs up? Perfect. Good seeing you. And certainly, it's always nice to see people return, and hopefully maybe when you complete your term that you're doing, that you'll come back and join us again. Who knows? Just one quick reminder that if you're looking for something to do tomorrow night, there will be a hockey game at Joe Byrne, starting at 6 o'clock, and it's our high school, Eagles, and they're going to be playing the dreaded Concords from Gander. So come out and support our team as we defeat the Concords. You like that, Deputy Mayor? You think that'll happen? Sounds good to me. I think it is too, so we could do that. So 6 o'clock tomorrow night. And if you're listening and you get an opportunity, certainly invite you to come along and support our high school hockey. And again, since I had I was almost going to get into sort of a song and say, and to all a good night, but I may clue up and do that. But certainly I'd like to take this opportunity to say how pleased I am to work with the team that I have, and certainly like to take this opportunity, and then when I say team, I'm talking about council and staff, and working with a great bunch of guys and gals, and what's that? Galing? And certainly, seriously, for all the work that you do, and the commitment that you make, and the commitment that you have made to the people of Grand Falls, Windsor, to serve the people of Grand Falls, Windsor. And I think that's what it's all about. We try to do the best we possibly can. Are we perfect? No, we're not. Do we make mistakes? Yes, we do. Do we make everybody happy? No, we don't. But we try. And somewhere in between all of that, you know, you try to balance out to make the best decision for the majority of people. And I think that we're all very serious about that, to make sure that this community is the community that it is. It's an open community, that's a caring community, and certainly over the years that we have proven that. We have a rich history of caring and giving, and this is another appropriate time of the year when we think about those, as Councillor Mercer had alluded to earlier, that in spite of all the riches that's around us, and in spite of the fact that we have province, there are people that are suffering. There are people that do not have sometimes what is required and what is necessary. Many of us, we look at things, we not necessarily need them, we want them, we get them, but there are people that actually need things and can't get them. And so at this Christmas, I just encourage all of us to be sensitive to people that are less fortunate than we are, and to lend a helping hand to those that are in need. And certainly from my wife and myself and my kids, they're all dispersed, and my grandchildren, they're all over this country, that won't be home for Christmas this year. Someone mentioned that earlier, that there are people that won't be home, and always is a sad part when you have your children that are moved on and gone other places. But anyway, we certainly do recognize that family is so very important to all of us, and certainly from our family to your families and to the citizens of Grand Falls, Windsor. Thank you for your support, and thank you for your understanding, and thank you for your encouragement. And I'd just like to wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a happy and prosperous New Year. And with that note, we'll have someone move the adjournment of the meeting, and then we can say, and to all, a good night. So moved. And so to all, a good night.